All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me. All right, I'm going to be talking alternative rock a little bit. Morrissey critiquing the media response to Sinead O'Connor's death. This is a priceless rant that he goes on. It's just brilliant, actually. Here's Cry of Dawn. I figured I'd give you an alternative looking album cover. Anthropocene. Anthropocene is the name of this album. Don't be afraid of it. The content on the inside is very melodic. It's very mainstream. And two guys who know how to write, sing, and produce, Goran Edman and the great Tommy Denander playing guitar. They're just really good at what they do, and this is going under the radar. So check out Cry of Dawn. Cry of Dawn. I believe this is their second release, and it's good. Also, what's good? Modern Retro Radio. Give them a quick plug. People are telling me they're listening. They've just put it on, and they just let it play all day. So that's the point. ModernRetroFM.com if you want to go and listen to it. Please do so. You'll hear yours truly every so often doing a voiceover on something. Now, on to this incredible critique of the media coverage of Sinead O'Connor's death. This is like over the top brilliant by Morrissey, who, yes, I used to listen to in college. A lot of Morrissey, because Morrissey had his own thing going on. And so did Sinead O'Connor, and that's where the connection is. So as the world mourns the death of acclaimed Irish singer Sinead O'Connor, Morrissey has criticized media outlets and the record industry, and this is really good, for not supporting O'Connor during her life. So indirectly, he is blaming the record industry and the media and people who are criticizing Sinead O'Connor for her early demise. We'll call it that way. We'll say it that way. She had only so much self to give, Morrissey wrote to his website. She was dropped by her label after selling 7 million albums for them. She became crazed, yes, but uninteresting, never. She had done nothing wrong. She had proud vulnerability, and there is a certain music industry hatred for singers who don't fit in. This I know all too well. And they are never praised until death, when finally they can't answer back. From there, the former frontman of the Smiths turned his ire towards the media. And of course, the media covering this. I wonder if the media will ever learn anything from something like this, because this is brilliant. The cruel playpen of fame gushes with praise for Sinead today, with the usual moronic labels of icon and legend. You praise her now only because it is too late. You hadn't the guts to support her when she was alive, and she was looking for you. The press will label artists as pests because of what they withhold, and they would call Sinead sad, fat, shocking, insane. Oh, but not today. Music CEOs who put on their most charming smile as they refused her for their roster are queuing up to call her a feminist icon. And 15-minute celebrities and goblins from hell and record labels of artificially aroused diversity are squeezing onto Twitter to tweet their jibber jabber when it was you who talked Sinead into giving up because she refused to be labeled and she was degraded, as those few who move the world are always degraded. Wow. Morrissey went on to compare O'Connor to Judy Garland, Whitney Houston, Amy Winehouse, Marilyn Monroe, and Billie Holiday, all immensely talented and successful female artists whose tragic deaths were caused by drugs or alcohol. It should be noted that O'Connor's official cause of death has not yet been announced. Could be that all of these unforgiving people caused her death. Was this music madness worth Sinead's life? Morrissey is implying this, by the way. No, it wasn't. She was a challenge and she couldn't be boxed up. And she had the courage to speak when everyone else stayed safely silent. She was harassed simply for being herself. Her eyes finally closed in search of a soul she could call her own. As always, the lame streamers missed the ringing point, and with locked jaws, they returned to the insultingly stupid icon and legend when last week words far more cruel and dismissive would have been done. Tomorrow, the fawning fops flip back to their online crap posting and their cozy cancer culture, which is probably even better than cancel culture as far as a description, and their moral superiority and their obituaries of parroted vomit, all of which will catch you lying on days like today when Sinead doesn't need your sterile slop. Wow. So not much you can add. Morrissey blaming the record industry for her demise. And I can't disagree with him. I can't disagree. I don't know all of what happened to Sinead after the record label dropped her, but I imagine that, it's amazingly unfair and ridiculous. And it happens so many times, or it did happen so many times in those days where, an artist, may have had a bad outing, a bad album, maybe got some bad publicity, and the record label wanted to maybe put her in some kind of a box. Imagine dropping Sinead O'Connor in the 1990s, right? A decade that was perfect for Sinead O'Connor. Perfect decade for her. But yet, her popularity faded very quickly, and Morrissey says she became crazed, but certainly she was still very interesting. And you can apply this, by the way, to all facets of life right now. And he made the point about you only care about this person because they died. When they were alive, you were constantly making fun of them, calling them names. And yeah, she obviously had her problems. But when people die, that's when they finally get some praise. Oh, he was a really great artist. I really love that guy. And during their life, you probably didn't say much at all about them. And my point is, while you have legends that are still alive, and I'm thinking like about, say, Eric Clapton, for instance. The reason I bring him up is because, yeah, he's gotten a lot of accolades, but recently he's come under fire for not fitting into a certain box. And this is the kind of behavior, by the way, that is hard to forgive, especially when people come back later and they say all these great things after they've checked out. Oh, they were great. We really loved what they did. Yeah, you weren't saying those things recently, though. And people will, they'll use a little caveat like, for most of his career, he was a reliable group thinker like we are. But toward the end, he strayed into dangerous territory, buying into conspiracies. No, buying into things that you guys don't research. Buying into things that, the mainstream doesn't talk about. And, we've got all kinds of things happening in the world. We've got fentanyl coming across in record amounts, and people are dying because of it, and nobody is really discussing that. We've got child trafficking as an epidemic, and yet supposedly it's a QAnon conspiracy theory. And why did I go off on that tangent? Because the media, they're the ones that set the table for everything, especially now. When it's on your phone, it's on your devices, it's everywhere, it's in your face 24/7. And they're the ones that can brand somebody a lunatic. Maybe Sinead O'Connor was crazy, right? But that was the result of how she was treated. And some people handle it well. You go from 7 million albums, you go from standing on top of the world as far as somebody who is popular to going literally down to the gutter. And I don't know how you handle that much fame and popularity. And then people start saying things about you. And he's saying here, Morrissey is saying, she didn't do anything wrong. She didn't do anything to you. She had her own struggles, and you guys weren't willing to help. In fact, you were the ones pushing her away and saying nasty things. I mean, the human soul, the spirit can only take so much of this before it starts to like, okay, either you get angry or you get depressed or you get both. And that's me, by the way, day to day with what's happening in the world. There are some days where I sit around and I'm like, what's going on? This is so depressing. And then, you read a headline about a gospel singer with all these blood clots and everything, and people just dismiss it. They go, yeah, there's no correlation. There's nothing to see here. I don't know why you keep bringing this up. You're just a nut. You're just bankrolling, like Rolling Stone says, I'm just bankrolling conspiracy theorists. Yes, I'm bankrolling them at the pace of 2 out of 68. 2 out of 68. And then whoever's, putting that money into my account is skimming 70% of it or whatever for themselves. So this is the world we're living in. Yeah, is this a great startup business opportunity? Absolutely. It started that way. Things are changing because if you speak your mind and you're not just making mindless content, things don't always go so well for you. And the business model is changing. So the only thing you could do is try harder and work harder and try to adapt to the lunacy of it all. But in the end, you can get very depressed because you think you're doing what's right. In the case of Sinead O'Connor, she was very successful for a little while. And then she fell from grace. And when people fall from grace, a lot of times they meet a premature ending. And so we still don't know what caused Sinead O'Connor's death, but we do know that it was certainly way before the normal 56 years old. I know people today, 56, is the new 86. Remember when life expectancy was supposed to go up and we were supposed to treat people with mental health issues? Now we tend to embrace certain mental health and we put it forward as something that's good and normal, and it's none of your business. And anyway, that's just another video to do, and I don't want to keep going. So in any event, people, Sinead O'Connor and more, go read the Morrissey article or keep watching my video over and over again. But Morrissey here says some stuff that needs to be said about everything, not just about Sinead O'Connor, but about everything. All right, before I leave, here is Cry of Dawn. Anthropocene is the name of that. If I'm not saying it right, might be Anthropocene. Don't know. But it's a good album. Go listen to it. It's melodic rock. It's well put together. The album cover is a little creepy and scary, but a lot of things are right now. So I guess it fits in with today's world. God bless you. Thanks for watching.